Hello everybody, how are you today? My name is Ali Hussam Ali. I'm in grade 8H. Our material today about chemistry. The lesson is chemical language. Vocabulary review. What is a cation? A positive ion formed by a metal. Examples: NaCa2 Al3. What is an ion? A negative ion formed by a nonmetal. Examples: HF, O2, and B3. What is a polyatomic ion? A group of charged atoms, NH4 and SO42. Formation of ionic compounds. Ionic bonding. What happens when an atom of sodium reacts with an atom of chlorine? Na becomes Na plus 1e, and Ci plus 1e becomes Ci. Ci plus 1e becomes Na plus Ci plus 1e, and Ci becomes Na plus Ci plus 1e. Ionic bonding. We write NaCi as simply NaCi. The ionic compound is neutral. This means the net overall charge is 0. Now let's try for cesium reacting with sulfur. Ionic bonding. Cs becomes Cs plus 1e, and S plus 2e becomes S2. We add Cs plus S plus 2e becomes Cs plus S2 plus 1e. This equation is not balanced. What must be done to correct this? Solution. Write the symbol for each ion present. 2. Make sure you include the charge of each ion. Writing a formula. Write the formula for the ionic compound that will form between Ba and Ci. Solution. 1. Balance charge with plus and minus ions. Write the positive ion of metal first and the negative ion. Here in Ba and Ci we do crisscross for 2 plus and minus. Write the number of ions needed as subscribes. BaCi2. The number 2 becomes 2Ci. Note, we crisscrossed the charges. Ionic compounds. Example: sodium and oxygen react. You have to balance the charges. You do this by crisscrossing the value of the charge, not the plus or minus oxide, Na plus and O2 minus becomes Na2O. Here also we do crisscrossing for 2 minus and plus. We do not write the one as a subscript. Ionic compounds. Lithium iodide, Li plus and I minus, becomes an LiL. Ionic compounds. Magnesium oxide, Mg2 plus and O2 minus, becomes Mg2 and O2 must be reduced to MgO. Ionic compounds. Let's try a few. Barium nitride becomes Ba3N2. Aluminium oxide becomes Al2O3. Cesium iodide becomes CSL. Sodium fluoride becomes NaF. Strontium bromide becomes SrBr2. Learning check. Write the correct formula for the compounds containing the following ions: Na plus and S2 minus. Solution: Na plus and S2 minus becomes Na2S. Al3 plus and Ci minus becomes AlCi3. Mg2 plus and N3 minus becomes Mg3 and Mg3N2. Naming compounds. Binary compounds composed of two elements, ionic and covalent compounds included. Binary ionic compounds, metal and non-metal. Binary covalent compounds, non-metal and also non-metal. Binary compounds composed of two elements. Binary ionic compounds, metal and non-metal. Binary covalent compounds, non-metal and non-metal. Binary ionic compounds, type 1 monoatomic cations and anions contain two different elements. The cation is always named first and the anion second. A cation has same name as element. Examples: Ca2 plus is calcium, Al3 plus is aluminium, and Na plus is sodium. A anion has the same name as the element name with adding IDE to the end. Examples: Ci minus is chloride, S2 minus is sulfide, and P3 minus is phosphide. Common symbol cations and anions. Here, this is examples of cations and anions. Every anion has name here. Rules for naming type 1 ionic compounds. The cation is always named first and the anion second. A simple cation takes its name from the name of the element. A simple anion is named by taking the first part of the element name and adding IDE. Compound AlCl3 cation Al3 plus and anion Ci minus. Ion names aluminium and chloride. Comments Al group 3 always forms Al3 plus and Ci group 7 always forms Ci minus. Binary ionic compounds type 1. Examples KCl, potassium chloride, MgBr2, magnesium bromide, CaO, calcium oxide. Ionic compounds. Now let us put it all together. Na3N cation sodium and anion nitrate. Compound sodium nitride. Ionic compounds BaO cation barium anion oxide. Compound barium oxide. Naming binary ionic compounds type 1. Summary name the metal first, then non-metal, with ending changed to IDE. Examples NaCl, sodium chloride, ZnI2, zinc iodide, Al2O3, aluminium oxide, KCl, potassium chloride, MgBr2, magnesium bromide, and CaO, calcium oxide. Exercise. What is the name of the compound SrBr2? A. Strontium bromine, sulfur bromide, strontium dibromide, strontium bromide. The answer is strontium bromide. Learning check. Complete the names of the following type 1 binary compounds. Na3N sodium, KBr potassium, Al2O3 aluminium, and MgS. Solution. Complete the names of the following binary compounds. The answer is Na3N sodium nitride, KBr potassium bromide, Al2O3 aluminium oxide, MgS magnesium sulfide. Common type 2 cations. Here, these examples about cations. Mercury ions always occur bond together in pairs to form Hg2 2+. Rules for naming type 2 ionic compounds. The cation is always named first and the ion second, because the cation can assume more than one charge. The charge is specified by a Roman numeral in parentheses. Examples of of command, ions present, here the example, and here, ion name, here and here. Comments: iron is a transition metal and requires A3 to specify the charge on the cation. Binary ionic compounds type 2. Examples: COPr is copper bromide, FeS is iron sulfide, PbO2 lead oxide. Binary ionic compound type 2 use a Roman number after the name of a metal that forms two or more ions. Note: compound is neutral. Example: FeCl3, Fe3 plus iron chloride, CuCl, Cu plus copper chloride, SnF4, SN4 tin fluoride, PbCl2, Pb2 plus lead chloride, Fe2S3, Fe3 iron sulfide. Exercise: what is the name of the compound CrO9? Chromium oxide, chromium oxide, chromium 2 oxide, chromium 4 oxide, 5 oxide, chromium dioxide. The answer is chromium 5 oxide. Exercise: what is the correct name of the compound that results from the most stable ion for sulfur and the metal ion that contains 24 electrons? Iron 3 sulfide, chromium 2 sulfide, nickel 3 sulfate, iron 2 sulfide. The answer is iron 2 sulfide. Learning check: complete the names of the following binary compounds with variable metal ions: FeBr2, Cu2O, SnCl4, Fe2O3, Cus. Solution: FeBr2 iron 2 bromide, Cu2O copper 1 oxide, SnCl4 tin 5 chloride, Fe2O3 iron 3 oxide, Cus copper 2 sulfide. Learning check: name the following compounds: CaO, SnCl4, and CO2O3. Solution: CaO calcium oxide, SnCl4 tin 5 chloride, CO2O3 cobalt 3 oxide. Polyatomic ions are charged entities composed of several atoms bound together. They have special names and must be memorized. See table 2.5 in page 62 in text. Examples of compounds containing polyatomic ions: NaOH, sodium hydroxide, MgNO3 2, magnesium nitrate, H42, SO4, ammonium sulfate. Names of common polyatomic ions. These are examples: ion and his name, and also here ion and his name. Naming ionic compounds containing polyatomic ions follows rules similar to those for binary compounds. Ammonium acetate, NaOH, sodium hydroxide, MgNO32, magnesium nitrate, NH42SO4, ammonium sulfate, FePO4, iron 3 phosphate. Exercise. What is the name of the compound KCiO3? Potassium chloride, potassium chlorate, potassium perchlorate, potassium carbonate. The answer is potassium chlorate. Thank you for watching.